we now proactively seek out social media sites like YouTube, for example, and look for incidents of very toxic behavior and track down the accounts that are participating in those and action them oftentimes before anybody's even reported them or they've shown up in any other place.
Rest in peace, my Blizzard account.
The first thing that I wanted to talk about was our progress on toxicity.
The first thing I want to talk about is how the hell do you define toxicity? This is a nasty trend that we saw happen to me with Wizards of the Coast, and now we see Blizzard imposing it on their Overwatch players. What is toxicity? You don't define it. It's never defined, and that's on purpose. What it is a word that is malleable, one that they can use to bend and fit whatever narrative they need to for a particular point. Essentially, they could ban whoever they want, whenever they want, for being toxic.
As you all know, it is a major initiative of the Overwatch team and everyone here at Blizzard to minimize the amount of toxicity that takes place in online games, not just our games, but games in general.
Is it me, or is it freaking creepy that a company that makes a game called Overwatch, a company that is massive in size, sees the need for themselves to be policing gaming as a whole?
So we've been putting a lot of effort against this and I think making some good progress. As you all know, we recently added the ability for our console players to report people, which has been amazing and has shown us really great results. We also added warnings for people who were about to get suspended, silenced, or banned, that their behavior was unacceptable and that if they kept getting reported by other players or noticed by us here at Blizzard, that they would get in trouble, and that's helped a lot.
What constitutes as great for you? What is the number you're seeking to reach? How much should you have to incentivize your player group to police each other? What is the end goal here? You don't share any numbers with us, any goals with us, any starting point, end point, anything useful. This is just propaganda.
And then we've also given feedback to those of you who are reporting players who are exhibiting poor behavior in the sense that you would get a message in the game itself that would tell you, hey, you reported somebody and we've taken action against them.
Right. So you're gamifying the report feature. I'm sure that won't end bad at all. I'm sure Twitter isn't a cesspool of far left regressives constantly reporting people, mass reporting people, and then proudly proclaiming and screenshotting the notices they get from Twitter when they get somebody banned. I totally don't see this ever being a problem.
I'm very pleased to report that in competitive play, since those features went live, incidents of abusive chat are now down 17%.
Down 17%? Okay, well, my bank account is up by 38 quiggle bleep duperdops. Again, no baseline, no definition of what toxic speech is, nothing. This is just propaganda to basically say, it's working, trust us.
And on the other hand, player reporting, so the amount of times that you guys actually report bad behavior, is now up 20%. So we're restoring faith in the system.
Of course reporting's up 20%. Like I said before, you're incentivizing people to report other people. You're giving people the little pellets when they press their little rat noses up against that report button. Okay? What you've done now is weaponized this report feature. You've marketed it to the people who are most likely to report or be offended by speech in a chat box. So of course, more people are reporting other people. Of course, I'm sure this will never be weaponized against people who maybe lose a match to another team. I'm sure this will never go bad. I'm sure this will always be used exactly as intended.
We've instituted some really interesting programs on that front as well. I'll just give you one example. A lot of these we don't like to talk about because we don't want players gaming the system or knowing what we can catch you for or action you for.
Or do you not tell us about it because of this video right here? This video that will be viewed many thousands of times probably and all the bad PR that's surrounding this ridiculous policy. Is that perhaps why you don't tell players that you're literally trolling their personal YouTube comments and Twitter pages to action them in the game? It's not that people might be pissed off about this. That's why you keep it a secret, right? This is just to stay one step ahead of the trolls, right? Definitely not all the bad PR Blizzard's been getting.
But I'll give you an example of one thing that we've been doing that has proven very positive. We now proactively seek out social media sites like YouTube, for example, and look for incidents of very toxic behavior and track down the accounts that are participating in those and action them oftentimes before anybody's even reported them or they've shown up in any other place.
And here we get to the crux of it. Essentially, they're saying that they're going to be patrolling YouTube, I'm assuming for trolling videos or excessive bad comments, and actioning, as they say, people from the game. So meaning, I don't know if it's a demerit technically or an insta-ban or whatever the case may be, they clearly have a team that is actively cyber stalking you, the customer, right? They are looking for comments, whether it be on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube. They are looking for comments they deem toxic, something they have never defined to us. Then they are investigating who you are in real life and then taking action against you in the game that you purchased. Let me repeat that. If you tweet something they don't like that they deem toxic, the system that they have in place is they have a paid staff of people who are actively looking for it, and then they will discover who you are in real life, a form of doxing that they have to do, link it to your in-game profile, and then perhaps ban you from the game. I'm totally sure that this won't get weaponized. And you want to know why I take this so personally? As somebody who plays a lot of Blizzard games, Hearthstone, World of Warcraft, I don't really play Overwatch. This is exactly what happened to me in Magic the Gathering. For some of you that don't know, I'm the first and only official player in Magic the Gathering history to be banned for life for wrongthink, for my own personal opinions on my own personal social medias. And at the time when Wizards banned me back in November, I told everyone that this was just the tip of the iceberg, that this was just the start. And now we see Blizzard following their lead, and they're basically policing our personal social media profiles, looking for reasons to ban us. Now, I'm sure they're not looking for anyone who has toxic liberal ideas. I'm sure they're not banning any Antifa members from Overwatch. I have a litany of problems with this, but let's just focus on the ideological ones. We have no idea what they deem toxic. We have no examples of what they deem toxic. We have no statute of limitations. So if I made a distasteful joke on my personal social media account 5 years ago, are you going to ban me in Overwatch? Are you going to ban me for harsh criticism? That's part of the reason that I got banned from Wizards of the Coast. I did nothing illegal. I harassed nobody. I had zero bad real-life interactions in over a decade of playing their game, and yet they banned me anyway. And when I was banned, I spoke to several lawyers, and I want to get to the legality of this. A lot of people will say, well, it's in the terms of service, right? We agree to this nebulous code of conduct thing every time we log in. And that's true. However, just because you agree to a contract does not mean it's legal, okay? The court could very easily rule on your side. In fact, in my case, I had several lawyers tell me that they would, because when Magic the Gathering banned me from their game, they also confiscated my entire collection that was a part of Magic Online, hundreds of dollars in cards. Imagine this happening in Hearthstone, for example, them taking your entire collection. This is what they do. That is not legal just because you signed some nebulous terms of service. The problem is, no individual will ever likely have the funds it would take to take Wizards of the Coast or Blizzard to court. Conservative estimates said for me to get my $500 or $1,000 in cards back, I'd have to have a war chest of 25 to 50 grand. Don't you think Blizzard knows this? They don't need to care about whether it's legal or not. They know you can't sue them. They know nobody can question them. And when they ban people, they're not going to give them their money back. I would say at least if you're going to have this authoritarian code of conduct stuff, you should at least in fair play refund them all the money they spent with you. If you're so concerned about toxicity, I feel like Blizzard should be telling you if you get banned from any game that you will get 100% refund for anything you've ever spent. That's where I have a problem. Look, if you want to be dumb and ban your customers over mean words, they say in-game, fine, but you should still refund their money. If you have then a team of people, and who's to say that regular people can't just take your social media posts and report them to Blizzard? Because that's what's going to happen. This is going to be weaponized against people they don't like. When I was playing Hearthstone last night and buying into it a little bit, knowing that this video was on the back of my mind, I was very nervous because there's like dossiers that these douchebags put together on me of every mean thing I've ever said. And so like every company I ever work with gets this email to them. It's a fact. It's how they attack my sponsors. It's how I ended up with no sponsors. It's how they get me banned from the game. You accumulate people who don't like you in life, and they keep these archives. And it's very easy for them to just fire off an email. Hey, this guy posts a Pepe meme. Pepe is a hate symbol, according to these morons at the Southern Poverty Law Center. So why aren't you banning him from your game? Do you support that sort of thing? They're going to ban you. What other option do they have? As players, I honestly don't think we can do anything about this. All I can say is, to combat this, like, up your sock account game. If you have a YouTube, if you have a YouTube channel and you're going to harshly criticize Blizzard like I am, good luck. I have no doubt that I'll screw up at some point. But if you don't have the eye of the public on you all the time, then you should really consider having an alter ego or a sock account. It's required. You're going to have to protect your privacy now against companies that you buy their video games. Think about that. You buy a video game, and now you have to worry about them spying on you. I'm not freaking kidding. I knew this was going to happen. I knew it. I'm going to leave you with this thought. Isn't it funny how companies like Blizzard launch Hearthstone and Overwatch in beta, and they accept all your money, and there's a new Kickstarter for a game every day? Isn't it funny how none of these games seem to lead with their anti-toxic community standpoint? They're totally fine taking your toxic dollars. They are totally fine letting you kickstart them. They are totally fine letting you pay them money into their betas and to buy their merch. It's only once they amass all this wealth that they suddenly grow a conscience. This is paper thin, and we all know it. This kind of behavior is disgusting. Blizzard, you need to rethink this.